Beautiful. Episode 1 of 06 from Everyone with Coltin Little, my man, making the trip back from about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I looked at it, it was exactly 2 years ago. It was like October 2023.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Supposed to be October 7th. So yeah, just about then, which seems crazy. It feels like it was like 8 months ago. And whenever I tell the story about you coming on here, I'm always like, yeah, it was like earlier this year.
To
and
me, it also feels like 5 years ago too.
That's beautiful.
At the same time, yeah.
You've done a lot. You've been real busy since then. So we'll dive into all that here. For starters, if you're listening and interested in a music video, hit me up. Let's talk. I'm interested in unique and memorable music videos. I always say it too fast, and I feel like it doesn't matter to anyone, but that's okay. It's good. I think the year is just about full here. There might be a chance for one more because something always cancels, something always changes. So yeah, reach out if you're interested. Coltin, my man, you're available for tour. There's lots going on here.
Same.
I know that there is an EP. We're just debating what we call this, an EP release cycle getting ready to start here. So something on the horizon here for quarantine. I think we're talking here.
Yep. Quarantine_CT on Instagram. We're going to be coming out with something soon.
Beautiful.
Not trying to be like big things coming soon. We don't have a date, so that's all I have to say.
It's all hypothetical. Beautiful.
Look
yes.
out for it.
I was starting like little cheat sheet here and trying to figure out how I was going to credit you, and I realized that it'd be easier to list the things that you do not do rather than list the things you do.
Yeah.
Because this is photo, video, audio, guitar in quarantine, guitar in Hospital for Souls.
Yep.
Drums everywhere else in the universe. Like, what don't you do at this point here? You were here 2 years ago, and it's been beautiful to watch the transition. Where like when you were here last time, I went back and watched some of it this morning. It was you and Ryan, and you and Ryan were here talking about Hospital for Souls as like an infancy kind of. This would be a cool thing to do. And I think you had like started doing some of it, but nothing really had happened yet. It was all just kind of like in your head still.
Yeah.
Touring was like, you were young, you were still in high school. You were going like, touring would be cool. I would like to make that happen. 2 years later, you have toured the country. You've gone around the country a couple times. You had your debut show for Hospital for Souls. I mean, where the hell are you at right now? Like, how are you taking a moment to like process this all? Has it all just been a blur? Where are you at?
I guess it's all been a blur because I've been working on this for so long. Like you said, like all of this stuff was planned 2 years ago, even more than 2 years ago. Yeah. And now it's happening, and it's been happening in my head for years, and now it's finally happening. So it's like I've been prepared for it, I guess.
It's the weirdest thing where we were talking before the show of how like people always ask you, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know. Like I've been in motion for 2 years since we last talked. I haven't had a day off. At the moment as I'm sitting here, I am more overwhelmed in work than I've ever been in my entire life, which is a great place to be in a lot of ways.
I love it. I
am also just like suffering. I'm swamped. I am like just weighed down by it all. It has been nonstop, relentless onslaught. And then people go, what are you up to? And it's like, just the usual. Which is crazy, where I've been so busy. I've been working so many hours, more hours than ever, and I can't begin to articulate a single word of it. It all just kind of becomes this one fluid motion here. And I assume all the traveling, all the touring, all the highways just like make this even worse. Yeah. Have you been able to like stop and like appreciate the growth here, where it is a massive growth that you've had, and I think still the early part of this arc, but
definitely.
Yes. Have you been able to like appreciate it all? Has there been a moment where you're able to like kick your feet up and like in the middle of Kansas somewhere with Dreamwake and be like, how the fuck did I get here?
Absolutely.
Kind of thing.
Almost every show.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I don't like off days or travel days because when we're just going, because you're just sitting uncomfortable on a highway forever. Feels like forever. 14-hour drive between two shows, you know.
Yep.
But during like every show, once we get there and there's people coming up talking to me, because I sell the merch and I'm such a big fan of the band I work for. I see myself in everybody that comes up to me and like buys something.
A real chill merch guy, I might add.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sometimes people like take pictures and stuff thinking I'm in the band, and I have to tell them I'm not.
It's always funny to me. It's always most flattering. I was with Euclid, and someone came in the green room and went, "Oh, what do you play?" And I was like, "I don't play anything," but it's so flattering to like be included
every
in
day.
it.
It happens every day.
But it is also funny. I remember being 16 years old and going to shows, and like the merch guy is the only point of contact for the band. So in a way, like you are the entirety of Dreamwake to a lot of people, which is a bizarre thing where you're sitting here saying like, "I'm not Dreamwake, they're Dreamwake, and I'm along for the ride."
Yeah.
And to a lot of the people who are coming out, who are, the middle schoolers and high schoolers that love these bands and go to these shows and buy all the merch, you are the only part of Dreamwake they contact with. And that seems like a lot of responsibility to like try and balance here of like, you're the face of this business. If they hate you, they're going to think Dave is an asshole. It has nothing, what you do has nothing to do with it. And hopefully the universe here is, I know you're very polite, I know you're very friendly, so I'm sure that makes them look good here. But does that ever like weigh on you? Are you ever like aware of like, whatever I do affects this entire organization, and there's a lot of pressure there?
I mean, I don't really feel pressure because
beautiful.
It always goes well. I haven't really had any bad experiences, knock on wood. So that's
they come inevitably, but
I'm cool with it.
In those moments, I do my best to lead into this like, how did I get here moment, which I think you kind of touched on.
I usually end up telling someone at least like every other show. People love to ask me like how I got the job, and I just say like I was just a fan just like you, and then I asked, and that's the long story short version. Is I asked and they said yes. So.
How did you get the job? How would you like? Is there a fuller story there? Were you just at the web server day? Like, where does this thing start?
Yeah, so I would do content at the Webster for free, and send it to the bands, and just like hope someone would see it and like it one day. So I shot one for them once, and I wasn't even like that much of a fan of it. It was just like, okay, I just made a recap. It doesn't like stand out. It wasn't my best one or anything. And then like a couple months later, I just got a notification that they posted it, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. But that was it for a while. And then one day I realized like I want to get out and tour, but I haven't asked anybody to take me out on tour yet. Nobody's just gonna like hit me up. So I decided to just hit up 3 bands, thinking they're all gonna say no, and eventually someone will say, yeah, I'll do this 100 times, and eventually someone will say yes. And it just felt so good to send those 3 texts and be like, okay, I'm doing what I need to do. And in a couple months, somebody will say yes. All 3 of the bands actually said yes, which I couldn't believe. One of them was Dreamwake, who didn't give a definite yes at first. They're like, oh yeah, like we'll look into it. And then like 2 weeks went by. I didn't hear any more. I didn't think anything of it. I was just very grateful that they even answered and said said maybe, and that was plenty for me. And then at kind of the last minute, they were like, if you can learn how to do merch, you can come with us. And now I've been on the road since March.
That's so
pretty
sick.
Much.
It makes me happy hearing that story, because that is exactly how I feel like my story went.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the least climactic thing, right? When the person on the show goes, how do you do this? And you go, well, you do it for free for a lot, and you ask for a lot of favors here, and eventually one of them pays off. I feel like people always look back at me and go like, okay, no, but like, actually, what did you do? It's like, it really is not that complicated.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Doing
That's
it 100 times, and 99 of them will fail. You're like, you said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You're like, I might send 100 messages about tour, and probably 99 of them won't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty common here. And it's that like determination to keep going here. Have you always had that? Like, is this the first time you feel like you've really committed yourself to something? Or like growing up as a kid, like I have vivid memories of being a kid and like organizing my sports cards, which is dumb. But I would have these binders of thousands of sports cards, and my whole weekend would be going through these cards and like sorting them by team, and then by jersey color, and then by name, and just like constantly reorganizing them. And that to me in hindsight is like, that is the same determined brain and stubborn brain of like, I remember getting halfway through Saturday and being like, fuck, it's 3 p.m. and I'm only halfway through. Because this was, my brain could be a quick thing, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, it's like, oh, the 6-year-old version of me doing that is the exact same stubborn idiot that still sent out 100 messages going, this is probably all going to suck, but eventually maybe it'll be something. I just have to do this for me. Do you have any sense of like, is there a younger version of you that was this stubborn and this determined, or is this kind of the first time that you really applied it?
I think so, definitely. Yeah.
In what? Is there like an example that sticks out to you? Is there a time? Were you an athlete growing up? Were you a musician? Obviously a musician, I guess maybe the apt thing here, but like, were drums shitty at first? So you had to like really grind out and learn? Is there anything that jumps out here?
Well, I tried a lot of things. I didn't know like from the start that music was going to be my thing. Once it hit, I have not looked back since the second it hit.
Yeah.
But before that, I've been, my dad has been playing the guitar forever. And he got me a drum set when I was 4, I think. I had like a toy drum set before that. So pretty much from when I was born, I had a musical instrument. And I would bang on them, and my parents have told me like they noticed I could keep a beat at that time.
Okay.
And then now I'm blanking on what I was going to say.
That's okay. Talking about being determined and having the determination here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I went on and off for the whole like first stage of my life. I didn't really consistently play the drums till I was 10. And then maybe from like 10 to 13, I really did it like every day.
And is this just coming home from school, sitting in there for as many hours as you possibly could, and learning as much as you could about it, and like, not seeing the sun in favor of seeing the drum set for another hour here? Yeah,
like 7th or 8th grade, every day when I came home from school, it'd be a couple hours annoying my parents.
That's it. Because
they got like the foam pads for them to dampen them, but those don't sound good, so I wasn't using those.
You're also in 8th grade, and being louder is objectively better here. Like there is no, I assume there's some adult version of this where like people go back to the pads as they get into adulthood and go, okay, I also don't need all this noise. But in 8th grade, half of the fun of the drums is hitting them as hard as humanly possible. Just making as much noise as humanly possible. Yeah, turning on an Under Oath song and just get through one song and you're just done for the day. Full body workout. Was that it? Was that one of the first bands that you like gravitated to and learned like an album all the way
Yeah,
through?
I remember I never learned an Under Oath album all the way through, but when that song On My Teeth came out in 2018, which I know like that's the album everyone hates, nobody likes. That's the first Under Oath song or album I'd ever heard, just because of how old I am. And I love that album. I'm probably the only one that loves that album.
Yep.
But that song on the drums is so crazy and so much fun. So I just remember playing that all the time.
It's funny. I'm going through that with Prada right now, where
Yeah.
everyone loves Prada. I've just missed the boat entirely, and their
Yeah.
album coming out is the first one I've heard the singles for, and be like, "This is gonna be sick." And
Yeah.
all my friends are making fun of me, like, "You're just now realizing that Prada is a band worth hearing." It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, my bad. Sorry, I was wrong.
Yep.
But yeah, that happens here. The other part you mentioned here is that you like had to learn how to do merch, which I think is an interesting thing here. Of like,
Yes.
it seems, I think from the outside, for me as a 16-year-old person, it seemed like such a dumb of like, just fucking put the t-shirts in the fucking box, give them, take the $20 and move on with life.
Yeah.
Now looking back, it's like merch is complicated. It is a whole
can be.
different
Yeah.
beast. How did you learn it? How did you go about learning? I assume, YouTube videos here. Were you able to ask someone? What is the process of learning merch to make this happen?
I'm sure you've heard of Tank the Tech, the YouTuber.
I don't know if I have
Oh,
actually.
you haven't really?
Okay.
Okay, so he's like more or less the only like roadie YouTuber that exists.
Okay.
Definitely the most popular one.
Interesting.
For sure.
Okay.
He has a podcast. He talks about like roadie stories and stuff. He's worked with Electric Callboy. I think that's his biggest guy. So he has like a free merch Google Sheet spreadsheet that he puts out. And he has a whole video going over, and it's pretty much the only video on all of the internet that exists on like how to do merch for a metalcore band, because it's such a niche thing. And they hit me up. They said, learn merch. I went straight to YouTube. I watched that video because it's the only video to watch. And then it's like 40 minutes long. Once I was done with it, I got a text that was like, oh, by the way, this is the spreadsheet we use. And it was a link to his that I had already watched.
Hell yeah.
And already familiarized
Hell
myself
yeah.
with. So
Sounds like Kevin probably went through the same thing, or whoever was
exactly.
handling the
That's
business.
who it was. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was that simple. One YouTube video, because that's the only YouTube video to watch.
That's so funny.
And then just learning as you go. The first day didn't go so hot.
Sure.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse. It wasn't
Okay.
bad, but it wasn't how it is now.
What
but
bad?
It
you
was
don't mind.
it was way slower
Okay.
than it should be. His video is for like stadiums and way bigger shows where you don't count the shirts as they're being sold. You do a full count in and count out every night, and then you just subtract. I was trying to do that in like a 200 cap room, and it just took like an hour to count every single shirt because it was the first night of tour, so we have so many shirts. And my plan on that first day was, okay, I'm going to do this every night, before I realized that there's no need for that.
Yeah. You can just count. I sold a large, check it off your thing, and then just have a running count instead of having to count all whatever, couple hundred shirts on the in and a couple hundred on the out.
Exactly.
I guess by the end of tour, that might be sustainable, but yeah, certainly night one, that's
Yeah.
going to be an absolute nightmare to try and stay on top of.
Yeah, so more or less day 2 and on was totally fine.
Hell
Haven't
yeah.
really had any significant problems.
Hell yes. You also, I feel like, become a victim of punishers at merch.
Absolutely. Not as bad as the band, though,
Okay.
at all. But definitely, I get my fair share, more than my fair share.
How do you navigate that? Because I think when you're the band, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm going to go to the green room. When you're at
Yeah.
merch, it's like you're a captive audience. You
Yeah.
are
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
at that
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
There is no way to get out of that conversation here.
So I don't see it as a totally bad thing, because like I said, I kind of see myself in everybody that comes up. So it's the drunk people that get me, that like they don't even know what's going on, so they don't ever stop. But the people that are just really excited and want to talk about the band and want to talk all these details and stuff, it's like I kind of do too. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I did that to them 4 years ago probably, so like I don't mind.
I think seeing yourself in them is a really like brilliant statement there. And I think that is the only way to make this whole thing work. And I think that's the more I am annoyed by a Punisher, the more I go like, no, I see myself in you. And I
Yeah,
see
no, I
myself
totally
being
get it.
excited to talk. And like a lot of
Yeah.
times I think there are people who aren't super social. And this is the first time they felt like comfortable
Yeah.
going to this depth where like they love this thing so much and none of their friends get it, or they don't have a ton of friends to connect to in the first place here.
Yeah.
And then finally they find someone like you who like knows the ins and outs of all the songs and all the choruses and the features and the
Yeah.
tones and who played the sax on this and all these little pieces here. And like, yeah, you're able to do such a great service here. And it is at the cost of our own attention and energy at times. But like, yeah, I try to keep in mind of like, they are coming from a place of such like an abundance of love. And I think the drunk people, you're right, are the exception here of like,
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
coming from, I am the star of the show. Please placate me. And it's like,
Yeah.
all right, dude, cool, have fun. I'm glad you're having a good night, but shut up and find someone else to bother here.
Yeah, definitely.
But there is something about the Punishers that I kind of find endearing, I think is what you're saying as well, where it is just like it's nice to see someone so excited to be able to like fulfill that passion, to like bounce off and just give them those 15 minutes of whatever happiness. It feels like
totally.
the best gift you give someone.
I don't get anybody. Well, I shouldn't say anybody. I definitely do, but most of the people I get are not annoying even in the slightest. You know, they'll have a couple questions and stuff where maybe the guys have answered these questions a million times, no joke, but I haven't. So I'm happy to answer the question. Like
for now,
yeah. Who knows, dude? Eventually, it'll be just the same thing over and over and over and over. Sometimes it is, dude. The amount of people that I have my shirts displayed with like what sizes we have and the price and the fact that it's front and back, like the most obvious things. But you'd be surprised how many people come up to me and be like, you know, ask the most obvious question. You know,
do you have that shirt in blue? It's like, no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When people ask for other colors, man, or the huge sign with the price and they're like, how much are the shirts? Sometimes I just go like that.
Yeah. That's all you get. You have to, it's about finding some balance there. Yeah. Protecting your own peace in this process and also making it happen here. Yeah. You go out and do merch the first time, doing merch and content, which is, again, way more of a clash than I think people realize here. Of both of them are full-time jobs. Yeah. Where like you describe counting in the merch here. So I think a lot of times people think that merch starts at 7 p.m. when the door starts. It's like, no. Merch starts at 1 p.m. when you get to the venue. Yeah. You're counting in the shirts. You're setting everything up. By 6 p.m. you're ready to go here. Show happens. Then you're even busier than before because all of a sudden Dreamwake plays. Now you're selling even more shirts and more merch happens. Yeah. Finally, it's 11 p.m., whatever, doors close. Now you're editing the photos that you took in the 1 30-minute break that you had here, doing that till 2, 3 a.m., getting it done, sleeping hopefully a couple hours somewhere in there, maybe getting a chance to go for a walk or do something that is 2 hours of human being somewhere in there, hang out with the guys, whatever that might be. Yeah. Waking up at 9 a.m., getting to the venue at noon and doing this all over again. Like, how are you balancing? How are you finding any peace in this like relentless onslaught of activity?
Well, I love doing all of those things. So my peace sometimes is doing it. Yeah. You know, and sometimes I worry that if it like gets old, not that it's going to get old, but you know, doing it for so long, I'm going to want break. Like right now, I don't need a break. I don't want a break. But I'm sure I will. And then I'll have to answer that question and I don't know what my answer would be. But as of right now, I'm cool with how it is. I'm still very new to this. Yeah. So I'm cool with just doing it. But yeah, you got the schedule exactly right. Set up merch and then I try to edit as much as I can during other bands because people aren't going to be at our table. They're going to be watching. So that's my like 45 minutes where I don't have anything to do, or like during the headliner set, I can edit pictures.
Yes.
But
have you gotten faster at editing? Have you gotten more efficient? Yeah. Like, how has that process been of trying to like squeeze this in and do it portably, which is the other challenge here of like, I'm supposed to be at my setup in the comfort of my own home. And then all of a sudden being in an office that is varying every single day, an office being a very loose term here of a merch table or a green room or whatever this thing is. Like, how has your editing changed? How has the workflow of processing the content changed?
So before I started touring, I used Photoshop Express, which is free and doesn't have presets or anything. So I would edit every single picture individually. Yep. So I finally got Lightroom for my tour. So now I have all these presets and it's way faster.
Are you paying it? Did you torrent it? What do you mean you got Lightroom?
Paying for it.
Okay, you are doing it the real way. Do you have a student discount to make it work?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
I was always too scared to pirate anything. This is kind of a different topic. I never did. I was just too scared to get a virus or something. But I just got a bunch of audio plugins, and it's just the most fun thing ever.
Yep. Turns out piracy is pretty cool.
For free. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
It sucks. I try and avoid it. The only thing that I pirate actively is like sports games. Yeah. It's like I'm not subscribing to all the things. I don't pay for cable. Like, I'm not subscribing to ESPN Plus and Peacock Plus and Apple TV and like all. It's like I'm going to go on Stream East and I'm going to find the game illegally. And that's what I do. Yeah. And so I have my laptop that like is retired and the only thing it's used for is streaming. So it's like, okay, if I didn't get the virus, this thing is going in the garbage sooner or later anyway. Yeah. So as long as it connects to the internet, I'm good. I'll stream. But yeah, I try to pay for things because it also just works better. I find that like the issue with
I'm nervous. Yeah. Every second it's open on my screen because it's not my like D computer. It's my main computer that has everything. Yep. And if it goes down, I'm screwed. And if even if just the project that's open goes down, it's like, okay, I'm mixing my whole album in one project. And if it goes down, I'm
Yeah.
I'm just done for.
In my experience, you're fine until the thing updates, and all of a sudden you can't get the update, and now these things are out of version, and that's where I ran into issues. And I'm trying to remember what I've had this issue with, but I've definitely After Effects plugins or what I've stolen before. And I'm trying to remember what they were or why I stole them, but definitely, saved a couple $100 and stole a bunch of stuff from online or got cracked versions somehow.
Yeah.
And it was all fine until one of the versions updated, and then that created problems for me. But
no, I'll definitely buy them in the future. I'm using my extended free trial right now.
It's so expensive also. And I think one challenge I run into is like there's a million things I could buy. There's so many directions that this business can grow. And for you, I don't even have the audio component, right? Like that's not even part of the growth that I'm talking about here, where you have this whole other side of the iceberg that can expand here.
Yep.
And it's like eternal challenge of like, where do I put the money and how much money is worth putting in? Should I wait and get the Lamborghini version of this, or should I just get the one that works to get me across the line? And it is just this impossible game. And I assume being on tour is even more challenging here because everything's more variable, right? Like at least
totally.
I think my problems are kind of consistent, but when you're on the road, everything is so different every single day that it's hard to predict where you're going to be next month. And you're right. I think you kind of, I'm going back a little bit here. You mentioned like at some point this might get old. And I think the unfortunate truth is like it does. Things change and things change over time. And that's kind of where I've found myself recently is like I've been talking about how I miss like doing $100 music videos. Like I miss just showing up and being like, I'm giving you 30 hours of work for $100.
Yeah.
Like, please just get me lunch and like we're good. This is okay. And there is something about that I miss. And I'm still happy in what I'm doing. I'm still great or enjoying the process. And like I don't see myself doing anything else. But there is this like longing of like, fuck, there used to be something that I am now missing. And it made me. I was listening to a podcast earlier. It was Steve-O and Chris Angel, which is the not an ideal combination of two people, but Chris Angel was saying how he does his Vegas residency and he's done thousands of shows, and he was describing how like some days I wake up and I don't want to go do my Vegas residency, and it was kind of nice to be like, okay, it's still, this thing doesn't go away. Like at a certain point your life just becomes this thing, and it is this weird balance of like what was so sacred to you is now just every day, and once it becomes every day it becomes life, and life has ups and downs to it. Is there any like fear for you of making this thing like every day? Like there is this like beautiful earliness where you're a couple tours in, but like I'm sure first tour and tour 3 were very different, where I assume that first tour was like every day, like the first half of the tour would have been like, I just want to keep my head above water, and the second half of the tour was like, this is euphoric, I'm so happy. But the third tour, I'm sure there was a time of like, we have to fucking get up at what time again? Like all of a sudden these things become real here. How has that process been for you of going from first tour when everything is beautiful and euphoric, and now a couple tours in and all of a sudden it's like some of these things do start to add up and creep up on you?
This was the longest. I think it was all of our longest tour, first full U.S. tour. So that definitely happened. The first two that I did with them, they were like 2.5, 3 weeks. So we were really like just getting into it when it ends. And we would all go home being like, I wish there was 3 more weeks of this. But this time there really was. And then the time that we usually would go home, like the halfway point, it's like, we're only halfway done.
Your
and then
internal clock
really
is like,
towards
I wanna
the
go
end,
home.
it's like, it's like we haven't, it's not like you haven't slept in 2 weeks, whatever, that's fine. You haven't slept in 6 weeks. And it's like,
you've missed a birthday, you've missed a friend's party, you've missed something at home, something happened, things. That is, I think, the hardest part of being away for that long is that life happens and there's not a whole lot you can do to account for it here. On some of those like longer days on tour, how are you finding peace? Like, is it just work harder and eventually I'll edit enough that I will move on to the next state here? Is there any like comfort? Is there a snack that you fall back on? Is there yoga, meditation that you're falling back on? Like, what are you doing to find peace when it's week 5 of the tour and you're going, I'm excited for one more week, but man, it would be really cool if I could be home right now instead.
I guess it's really just editing. The editing never stops. Because I try to get as much content as possible. I do pictures and videos, and we'll do board audio clips. So the audio has to be mixed and then synced up with the video, and then maybe I'll make a recap too, where I'm actually editing the video and then all the pictures and stuff. And then sometimes I'll shoot other bands just for fun on the tour.
Crazy.
Because I just have like we just did one, and the direct support slot was Aviana, who just puts on an unbelievable show. Fantastic. So I just shot for them a couple nights, just because I wanted to.
That's sick.
Because they're so awesome. So I always have something to work on. I'm never like completely by the time we get to the next venue, it's not like I'm ready for this shoot. It's like after I have to stop my editing of like the last show to go shoot this show and then come back and finish that and then upload the SD card for the new ones.
Yep.
And then once you get behind one day, it's going to be like that for the entire rest of the tour. There's not really catching up, and you just have to really make sure you don't get behind another day.
Currently I feel like I'm behind a couple days. And it all is just, it takes time to catch up and make it undo all that damage, and it involves a couple later nights than you would like to do. And of course, as you get behind, all of a sudden you're already low on sleep, so catching up is even more difficult than it would have been if you were on top of things in the first place here. And that all kind of accumulates. What's like a normal amount of deliverables for a week here? So you're doing photo every night. Is the recap video also nightly? Is that weekly? The live board audio is the same thing. Is this nightly, weekly? What is like the normal workload over the course of a week-ish?
Well, this time I don't know if I did a single recap on the entire tour.
Okay.
I did. I shot a bunch of footage for like if we need one in the future. But we like the board audio clips a lot.
Those are incredible, yeah.
So we've been doing those, which those have a lot faster turnaround time. So it also kind of depends on how my computer is acting, which that's my pet peeve. That's the one thing that it would drive me up a wall to no end is when my computer's not working or even just being slow at all. Like I got a nice computer for a reason, and when it doesn't deliver to, it's like I need like a NASA supercomputer. That's the only thing that would ever make me happy.
Yes. The issue is
I had a lot of problems in this tour.
As I've upgraded my computer, every time you upgrade the computer, you just grow into it. And so even the NASA supercomputer at some point becomes a Honda Civic. And it's just this annoying thing of every time you upgrade, everything else catches up, and whatever else you're doing, upscales the amount of workload the computer can take. And all of a sudden you're right back at the max load of the computer. And it's awful cycle to get stuck in here. You're right that the live audio stuff is the best. Where I think one, it's the best for like viewership and for fan experience, and for Dreamwake ultimately to sell tickets here is really what you are trying to do here.
Yeah.
And for that is the best way to communicate to fans. Like, here's what you're going to get. Here's what it's going to sound like. Of course, it'll probably sound even better because you can mix it after the fact, and it's not going through whatever's happened in the room here.
Yeah.
I also I toured with Boundaries in 2019 for a couple weeks, and it was exactly that, where there was like this multicam thing we were doing of we had I think 5 GoPros running or something like that. So it was like 2 cameras and 3 GoPros or some shit like that. And it was this weird thing for me where it's like I wanted to be creative and make art, but they wanted just like the live thing, and they were right because I could turn it out every night. We could turn it out so fast. Yeah. And it was exactly what the fans wanted here. But it was a strange thing for me is like, well, I want to be creative here, and this isn't creative at all. This is almost like sterile in the way of I'm just filming, cutting and pasting and putting it out. There is no like cool edit, cool transition. Wow, this was so well thought out. It was just like, here's what happened here. Yeah. Do you have the same thing here? Like, do you have to balance like the live recaps versus like photo and like being creative and trying to make it all work together? Yeah.
So it's more of like, it's the how the show's doing, like how many people are there, how the lights look, and then not every night we can't get audio every night. It depends on what board the venue has. Yeah. So it'll be a balance of that. Like if the show is totally packed and the lights are sick at the venue, but we can't get audio, I'm probably going to take pictures the whole time because it's going to make for awesome pictures. If we can't get audio and the lighting's good and there's not a lot of people there, I'm going to shoot all of my like slow-mo B-roll close-ups to use in a recap eventually. Just sit on that footage.
That's smart.
So I don't know what I'm doing at all. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. Does. Yeah. I would love to make every kind of content every night, and then get to a venue with horrible lighting and just like sit it out for the whole night and just watch the show or something, Yeah.
It sounds like you're not capable of sitting it out. I think you get to that venue and go, well, what can I do here? Which is the right attitude. Yeah. But I identify with you of like you kind of long for this rest, and it's like that rest would never come because if you had time, you would find a new thing to fill it, or you'd find some new. Totally. Can I clip my camera up here? Can I do something else? What can I do to make this night work? Yeah. Interesting.
We've been. I got the GoPro suction mount. We've been mounting it to guitars, which was just super fun. Makes for an awesome angle. Yep. Yeah, we try to. We have a bunch of GoPros. Kevin has one, and then the saxophone player brings one sometimes, and I have 2. Sick. So we just try to mount them everywhere. But
that's the way.
The worst is when I get there, I set up all the cameras, and it could be upwards of like 6 cameras, and then I talk to the sound guy when he gets a second. I'm like, hey, can we get the audio for tonight? And he's like, oh no, my board's too old. We can't do that. Set up all the cameras for nothing, or they're already recording. and I just wasted like 1 million gigabytes of space.
Is it that the boards don't have the USB out to put the flash drive in?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We don't do a flash drive that would get the left and right out.
Okay.
I want to plug in my laptop like it's a Focusrite interface.
Yeah.
And it gets all 32 channels individually.
Interesting.
So it's just a USB cable into my.
Gotcha.
But it's the same idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's some boards that are too old, and there's some boards that are actually too new, and they're doing it a different way.
Interesting.
Which I can't do. So
what is the new way?
I think it's through Ethernet.
Okay.
But it's not treated like an interface.
Interesting.
So I don't think there's a way to get it into my MacBook. I'm not totally sure, but
sure.
Most bands when they do this through their own gear.
Yeah.
And Dreamwake is getting that gear as soon as they can. So that's not something that we're
I know
have
the
to worry about
boards
anymore.
are tremendously expensive, so I assume that that is an investment of itself to try and make it.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any preference here between doing like photo and video? Like, do you have any in a perfect world, if you could be hired for one of them, is it doing both that makes you happy, or in a perfect world, would you only do one or the other?
I don't know. I feel like I've switched between that answer. Right now, I might say photo because I just figured out denoise on Lightroom, and it is so sick.
I am so mad that didn't exist 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable how good that is and how effective it is and how much better and easier it makes so much of life as a camera person.
Dude, I thought something was wrong with my... It's one of those things where after you figure it out, you're like, what was I thinking? The denoise button was just always grayed out because I was shooting in JPEG. And I just thought like, oh, my thing's not updated. And I tend to not really update things. Every time I like update my phone, it like bricks the phone.
Yeah.
Or try to update my computer, it fucking wipes the entire computer somehow. So I just don't update things. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't have denoise. I don't even like totally know what it is. I'm sure it's fine.
When did you realize this?
On this tour, halfway through.
You've been shooting in JPEG until right now?
I've been shooting in JPEG for 3.5 tours.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that's great for file management. Like, it would have saved you a lot of data storage.
It's one of those things where after you do it, you're just like, what was I thinking? My thought process before was I shot in RAW with like my Canon T3i because that was the only way to get a good picture out of it. But then I had a better Lumix, and now I have my really good Lumix. And I was like, okay, well, the camera's really good, so I don't need to shoot RAW because I don't need to fix anything. It'll be fine. But
that's insane.
I know that's totally wrong. That's not how it works at all.
It is that. It is also incredible the quality of work you've been able to produce. Knowing like that is usually I feel like when I see someone shooting JPEG, I am aware of it because the output is very much like, yeah, I could see the limitations here.
Yeah,
you fooled me. That is unbelievable.
That's good.
To know
a couple
that.
people. I think I posted something on my story, and a couple people were like, "Dude, what? You've been shooting JPEG?" But it's the amount of good pictures with like bad lighting that I could have saved if I shot RAW that I had to delete.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
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 So like it wasn't good. But now I know.
For anyone listening who has no idea what the fuck we were talking about here, I guess the way to describe this is that like JPEG is like the image that comes out of the camera when you shoot in RAW. It saves like all of the camera settings effectively so that you could go back and change the way the photo was taken instead of it being like a final product here. So like, and if you think put like a painting here, JPEG is like the final painting. RAW would be like the painting and still having all the paint with you, and still being able to go back with a brush and like change the stuff and like erase paint and like go completely redo this thing.
Yeah, you change the settings after you take the picture.
Yeah,
is that right?
I don't know if it literally works that way, but if I think my brain, that's how it's always worked here. And I don't know if the painting analogy is quite perfect here, but that's okay. It's close enough to give someone some general context of what the fuck is going on here. That's unbelievable that has worked for you.
It kind of has, but I would always be like, I mean, I got like one of the best cameras I could get, and I'd just always be like, why don't they look like I have the same camera as this person? Why doesn't it look like that?
Yeah, you learn very quickly that
I finally know now.
It's not real. That is, I think, that is the biggest thing I've taken away from working in media is you realize how fake all media is. And like this is a perfect example here. Like you don't realize why the photos don't look like they do in yours because the photo that they took is never existed in reality. That was not like their raw edit was not a thing that you could do in reality. It was going back and using the Lightroom denoise to make this thing actually look the way that it should look on socials here. And of course that extrapolates everything else. Every time you see a magazine ad, it's like, oh, that person probably weighs 50 more pounds than they do in this picture right now. And it's just like you realize how manipulated everything is here. I think we're all like loosely aware of that, but being hands-on with it is even more. And like the biggest example to me is always like with the podcast or with any kind of conversation I'm doing, like I edit these clips, right? And I make the clips, I think, more enjoyable than they would be, right? I'm making a 3-minute thing into a 30-second digestible thing.
Yeah.
And as I realized that, it's like, oh, so every time I've seen any clip ever of anyone saying anything, it's like, this wasn't a real sentence. This wasn't a real statement.
Yeah.
This was a boiled down version of a thought. And again, I think it's one of those things that we're all loosely aware of here. Like, we all understand how TV works, and that when someone's on the news, we're not seeing a real human speaking, they're reading off a teleprompter kind of thing. But knowing firsthand and like playing with it firsthand has really like scarred me from ever trusting or consuming anything and believing it, because I'm just so aware of how manipulated everything is here.
Totally.
And it's hard sometimes to like, because I have trouble enjoying movies even, because like I watch a movie and I'm like, I'm so aware that there was a sound guy, that there was 100 takes happening here, that there was a director who wrote this, and I'm starting to wonder now, like, not where the actor's good, but like, why did the director want them to say these words? What is in the director? What is his bias? What political narrative is he trying to push? Why did he make this character act this way?
Yeah.
What is he trying to, what is he trying to promote here? And it just becomes this massive thing where all of a sudden the actual movie is not anything that I'm able to consume or enjoy, because I'm so fucked up by everything else happening here.
Yeah. I always think about how they shoot shots in movies.
Do you have any interest of like getting there? Like, is it always going to be music for you? Do you have any interest in getting into short films and getting into like Hollywood? Like, as this thing we're talking about? Yeah,
I don't think Hollywood anymore. Like, I did. That was like the first thing I wanted to do was make movies, make videos. Before music was even really a thing.
Yeah.
I always wanted to shoot like a Star Wars movie in the future or something. I would always say that. Not so much anymore. I also know how much work goes into it now, and I don't think it's really my thing. If I'm going to do that much work, I really have to be into it. So then it's not really work.
Yeah.
I don't think movies anymore. It would be cool to maybe like do a music video that's kind of like a short film. I love stuff like that, but not like a big budget Hollywood thing, I don't think.
I think I also become aware that like the Hollywood movie is, my job becomes split into 100 people or 1,000 people even. Like in the Star Wars, it's probably 1,000 people that
definitely
go into making this. All the camera guys, all the grip, gaff, all the people who just build stuff, who put the lights up, who don't even touch the lights but have to put them up and plug them in, and all these different people. And I think there is something in my brain that still enjoys being one of like the only person with all the control and doing all the things myself, which is bad because that also is a limiting factor, right? If I just asked for help more often, I could make bigger and better things. But there is some part of my brain like, no, I like this, that this is mine. I like that this is me.
Yeah.
Do you have the same thing here? Are you also like still enjoying how much of this is like, it is still 100% your creation, 100% still Coltin, where like, as I'm hearing you describe making like the live audio, it's like, you're mixing the audio. That wasn't something I did. I had to outsource the audio because I'm not an audio guy. But for you, it's like you're putting all the cameras up, you're going to the audio guy, getting the feed in, you're getting all the multi-track, 32-track, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mixing, adjusting, all this stuff. Like that is a degree of ownership over this thing that could be divided. Like I'm sure, I think Bob has a recording studio, Dave I'm sure has a recording studio. Like they absolutely are capable of recording, and maybe they just don't want to do it, don't have the time or brain power on tour to do it. But it's like, these are things that could be outsourced, and it sounds like you're very much like, no. I want it all on my plate. I want to do all of this here.
I'm very happy to do it.
Yeah,
for sure. It's really cool to have a finished video that they like and they want to put up on Instagram for however many, way more followers than I have. You know, it's like so many people are going to see it. And I mean, I couldn't say it enough how much I like this band and how long I had been a fan. So it's really cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I like being a part of it in any way and being able to do as much as possible.
They are the best guys in the world.
Yeah.
I have to ask here about challenges, and I don't mean like challenges with them. Like I think whenever we're on the road that much, at some point someone's gonna be annoying because we're around each other too much, and someone's gonna get your nerves. I don't mean to ask about that. I mean challenges here of like, for example, hypothetically, if your van ever got broken into, and anything ever got stolen, or any other challenges similar to this year. Any other challenges that happen on the road here.
Totally. So that was one. It got broken into. We stayed in a hotel, which we very rarely do, even less now, kind of because of that. We're just always scared and nervous about it happening
That's
again.
tough.
But we left it next to the venue, and then it's not really an eventful story. They took I think it was one backpack and like shirt and pants, because we had almost all of the important things in the van. But we went to the venue afterwards because we were parked like right on the side, and they said that you're welcome to stay here tonight. And there was a camera right there. And I mean, this was also in Canada, and I think we had to be back in the U.S. by that night. So it's like we couldn't do anything anyway. But I figured, I don't know, what do? You ask for security footage, at least see what happened, you know? And those cameras were fake. They were to deter people from breaking into cars. Funny. Just by seeing a camera. Oh, I'm not going to break into this car. There's a camera there. So they were fake. So there's no footage or anything.
Sorry to interrupt. I was a psych major in high school or in college, and like I was into it in high school.
Yeah.
And there was a psych study that always fascinated me, or maybe it was sociology, but who gives a fuck? Same shit. That like the ADT security systems, that the blue sign out in front of your house does all the work here. When you buy an ADT security system, the actual beepers and sensors don't fucking matter, because if someone's coming in your house, they're coming in your house. The blue sign out front is enough to stop most people, and the sign does like 90% of the prevention, which is crazy that you're paying hundreds of dollars for a monthly premium, and really it's the 99-cent plastic flag out front that does all of the work of preventing here.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing as the cameras here, of like having the storing all the footage here from the cameras and making all the backup. Like that's an intense and dense technological process here.
Yeah.
Putting a camera up is a $50 thing. That's a pretty simple task here.
Yeah.
And it's funny to see that like out in the universe. I think this was like a hypothetical study, and to hear someone in very real terms be like, this is how the hotel runs their security, was let's just put cameras up and hope that does enough here, is crazy to see that works.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. Definitely didn't.
Might have worked other times or done enough other times.
Yeah, maybe in the
one.
daytime when you can see it, but not at 2 a.m.
That's crazy. So nothing, my memory here is that nothing crazy was stolen. I think if my memory is correct, that like Kevin lost a camera that had some personal stuff on it.
Yeah.
Which is obviously stinks here. But I think in the context of the whole van being gone, having no way to get across the border for the next day or whatever, like that's, more
nothing
loss.
necessary to the tour was stolen.
Yeah.
But that really sucked.
Yeah.
We looked at all the local pawn shops before we left to see if anybody had brought one in, but no luck on that. So
that's tough.
That's very unfortunate.
But nothing else was stolen, though, is the other strange part of this. Like, weren't there also like computers and other things in there that would be more obvious things to take?
So we took almost all of our things into the hotel.
Okay.
But the saxophone player's gear, like in-ear stuff, was in there, and then there was I think Dave's Focusrite was in there, which just looks honestly more expensive than it actually is.
Yeah.
Especially to somebody who doesn't know what it is.
Yep.
And it just wasn't taken. I don't even think that one was in a cabinet. It might have just been on a table. I could be wrong though.
Sure.
But I'm assuming they went through everything and just ignored it.
Interesting.
They might have been looking for drugs or something. There was saline solution for like this vocal mist, and they took that, maybe thinking it was something else, or
interesting.
Who knows? I don't know. I don't even know who did it. There's no
or what
camera.
state of mind they were in when they did
Who
it.
knows? Yeah. But it was nothing detrimental. It was just inconvenient, very inconvenient.
Yes.
But yeah, there was that, and then on this tour, so it started and ended in California, and we're in Connecticut, so we had to go to California to start, back to Worcester, Massachusetts on the tour, back to California on the tour, and then we had to drive home.
So you crossed the country four times in one.
4 times.
That's beautiful.
So by the time we got to California in 3 days from Connecticut, we just hauled it there, and the brakes completely went out. Makes the worst noise you've ever heard when you hit the brakes.
This was a rental too, correct?
Yeah. Yep. An RV.
So is there any coverage then from being a rental? Like if you own it, you're fucked. But if the RV, were you able to just like call the rental company, be like, hey, we're fucked, send us another one?
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much shit.
Sure.
This company is a pain. It was a horrible process. I mean, I wasn't even really involved with it. I'm not the one who rented it. It was all them that had to deal with it. But I just know from hearing about it how awful it was. But we didn't have to like buy a new RV or anything because it's not our RV. Yeah. So it wasn't like that. But we got a new RV. We took it to I almost said the company. I'm not going to. It doesn't even matter.
We'll bleep
really.
it out, whatever. Yeah,
but,
no worries here.
We took it to the RV place and then just got a different one. Okay. I don't know what they did with that one. Our guess, honestly, is that they just gave it to the next people that were going to rent it without fixing it, because that's kind of how it seems.
Yep.
But yeah, there was the new one. There was a turd in the toilet when we got it.
That's cool.
It's supposed to be like emptied out and clean and stuff. There
100%.
There's a turd in the toilet.
That That's beautiful.
But the brakes worked for the rest of the tour, and we were safe.
We'll take a turd with brakes rather than no turd and no brakes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby's cabinet was falling.
Okay.
We were saying, like the butterfly doors in like a Lamborghini.
Yes.
His
Yep.
cabinet was like doing that.
That's
it was
sick.
opening like opposite and like hitting him in the head and stuff. But that's just
life.
how it is, honestly.
Beautiful. It seems like life also was mostly good for the most part. Like these two low points here. But it seemed like you're having like Andrew seemed like he was cooking up a storm every night.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like you guys were feasting, camping out. Like what were some of the highlights here?
Yeah.
As you now are home with 4 hours, it feels like, before you go back on the next run of shows
Yeah.
here. But like, what stands out as highlights of this as you look back on it? What are like the fond memories of it that you'll carry with you?
Definitely the cooking. Andy's cooking. Shout out Andy Pops, always.
Yep.
The pasta dinners, the
Yep.
steak dinners, just the best. Stuff you would never think you'd have on tour. Sometimes at home too. You just like microwave something. You don't even always have something that nice at home, let alone on the road.
Yeah.
It's the best. Everybody loves it. And then I love kind of back to like the merch selling. I just love talking to fans of the band every day. That's my favorite part by far. This tour, everyone on the package loved every single band that played. Every single song was a banger from all the bands. So getting to hear their sets every night was so awesome.
That's so sick. And it's so rare too, where I know from plenty of friends who've been on plenty of other tours, like it's pretty almost always there's a squeaky wheel involved in this tour package here. Or some band where it's like, we didn't see them, we didn't know they were on this package, we never got to engage with them.
Yeah.
It's so rare that you have this thing of, the 4 bands, I think it was 4-band package.
4 bands, yeah.
4-band bill here, where everyone is truly a community and everyone is actually supporting and everyone is actually excited to see the set and everyone is present and you get to know all the people. People aren't just hiding in their van, which makes sense for a lot of reasons, but isn't the most exciting way to travel here. But that's a beautiful surprise to be able to like have all 4 bands be such a community here.
Yeah, it was great. We would listen to music that they play on their set list.
Yeah.
Like in the van in between shows,
That's
just because we like it so much.
Yeah.
I'm just a huge fan of all the bands now.
That's sick.
I hadn't seen Thousand Blow was the headliner. I hadn't seen them since it was my first real show that I went to in 2020 when I was 13. That was the first and only time I saw them, and then I do my first full U.S. tour supporting them, which
that
was
is the best
so awesome.
full circle moment of all time.
Yeah,
Damn, that is so sick.
It was really cool.
How did you feel when you got the news here? Because that must have been immediately obvious to you when Dreamwake reaches out and says, hey, we have this offer to go with them.
Yeah.
You must have immediately been like, oh, fuck, that was them.
Yeah,
What is that moment when you first get this news?
It was so cool. It kind of was like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
They were one of the openers on the Bad Omens tour way before they were big. It was at the Webster Underground. I was 13 years old and I remember like I loved all those bands and I listened to them for months because that was like my first real show. So I just made a playlist of all the bands like the second I got the ticket, and it was a whole. And now it's just like, oh, you go to any show, whatever. It's not a big deal. It was a huge deal then.
Yep.
I remember walking in, and I walked into the Webster Underground, and I thought that was like the pre-show or like the merch room or something. I'm like, where's the stage? And my dad was like, it's right there. It's the size of your knee. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you could have a concert. That show did a lot for me. I could talk about just that show for a long time. There were local openers on that show, and I had no idea that was even a thing. And that was when I was like, okay, I want to do that. I want to be able to like open for Bad Omens for one show. Like, how crazy is that? These are just like local guys, and they get to do that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's funny. I had the exact same moment of I met a friend. Of course, the music side of this was never part of this, but I met a friend who was in a local band who was doing that, through opening for the local guys, whatever. And it was the same kind of eye-opening thing of like, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know this was an option. Like, and somehow in my brain, you were either Metallica or not a musician. Like, I didn't realize there this whole like, which makes sense that in every universe there's entry level versions of it and all that scales all the way up to the top of the mountain here.
Yeah.
But it had just never dawned on me. It had never made any sense to me. And seeing him doing band stuff was like, oh, there is a whole world. There's a whole amount of possibility here that I didn't know existed. For me, it was never playing the music. That's not the part that stuck. I tried, just wasn't my thing at all here. But then the camera stuff was kind of a similar thing here. Like, that was my gateway, was seeing him pursue the music stuff and being like, oh, fuck. I didn't know this existed here.
Yeah.
And now it's just beautiful. Like, it just opened so many doors. And you had, I think I was like 16, so you had a head start on me there. But That's beautiful. Yeah, that's such a cool full circle moment. Did you get to talk with them about that on this tour? Like, did you ever like nerd out and punish them? And be like, hey guys.
I did. Yeah, I try ever since I like learned the term Punisher, which I don't even think I knew until the first tour I did with Dreamwake earlier this year.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and then dude, when I heard that, just every memory of me doing that to every band for years was just like, oh my god. I think like the first thing I said to them was like, dude, I probably did that to you so many times. I'm sorry. Done it to every other band. So I try not to be, I'm like conscious of that now, but sometimes I think I might think about it too much. Like,
Definitely.
it's okay to talk to people.
Definitely.
But I try not, but yeah, I did go up to them and I was like, that's such like a legendary tour for them. That was such, it's kind of like a meme for them too.
Yeah.
So I said like, oh, my first tour that I went to when I was 13 was the Killed and Born Again tour, and they're like, oh my god, no way, that was but yeah, that was, they said Bad Omens did a lot for them. They talked nothing but great about how good they are, which is cool to hear. Like a band that's so like far out of reach. Like who knows if I'll ever like meet them or anything. They're like true like celebrities. And to hear that they're just great people was awesome, because you don't always hear that.
You hear that very rarely. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. That's so sick. I'm the same way with like the Punisher thing, and I'm also now scared to talk to people. And it's as much like I'm scared to punish them as it is like I don't want to be a fan of you and try and get hired by you in the next month. Like it's this weird balance of like I want you to know that I support you, but I think if I am a diehard fan, then all of a sudden I'm a weird person to bring on the road, where it's like it is this fine balance here. Like I don't want to tip my cards too much, and even though I love you, I don't want you to know I love you, because then I'm a weird person who's scary to bring on the van because I love you too much here. And there is some value of like being neutral that I always find myself trying to toe that same line. Yeah. And I think you're right. We probably do overthink it tremendously of like, just go be yourself. Like just go like the thing, and who cares? And like I'm sure for them, like they got into the tour from some, like they had their first show at 13 for someone, like be able to hold that memory for you must be cool. Like and I think like eventually people get jaded maybe and don't take that so well. And I'm thinking of like, some of the jaded celebrities in our universe that like probably wouldn't, where everybody tired or too cool to hear about it now. Belt and Blow doesn't seem like that. They seem like they're accessible and like
fantastic.
It seems like it would make their day to be like, definitely you had that impact on me.
Yeah, when they would, I think they started to notice that I would stop what I'm doing and watch all their sound checks, because I ended up being a huge fan of all their new stuff, but I hadn't heard it before. So now I know every word to every song that they played. But all the songs that I like wanted to hear, I don't think they played a single one of them. So they asked me like, "Oh, do you have any requests?"
Tradition.
Yeah, dude, I wanted them to play that so bad, and they didn't. Me and Kevin would say that. We were hoping that for like months leading up to the tour. But
I'm surprised actually that they don't. But I guess it feels like to me on a headlining run they would like dig one or two out of the archives here. But I guess
they did, just not that one specifically.
Okay,
but they did.
I also may underestimate how far in the archives that is at this point for them, where they've done enough since then that's not coming out anymore.
Yeah, no, they did ones from that album, just not that one. But they asked me like, "Do you have any requests?" And I said yes, and they just started playing it. And then they usually do an instrumental sound check so the singer can save his voice. And they saw me like singing in the crowd, and they were like waving the mic, like, "You want to come up and sing?" I said, "Absolutely not," because I know the vocals are going to be like blasting in their in-ears. Like, no, I'm not coming up and singing. That's the one instrument that I don't do.
It is wise after seeing the guy on stage with Bring Me the Horizon the other night that was going viral.
I just
that
saw
guy
that this morning.
Who ruined his life doing it on stage. So don't be that guy. And I guess he did in front of a couple thousand, 20,000, whatever the fuck the crazy number was. So a little different than a sound check. Almost maybe even worse to do it at a sound check though, because like I feel like on stage the band is gonna laugh at themselves and move on with life. But like,
singing with the crowd and stuff with them. It's just like,
but at sound check they're gonna wrap up sound check in 5 minutes. They're in the van talking shit about you immediately. There isn't the rest of the half an hour, whatever hour long set for them to move on with life and not talk shit about you immediately here. So
I don't know. There's part of me that like, oh, it would have been kind of funny, but. It would have just been funny. It wouldn't have been anything else. It would have been impressive. It would have been horrible. But
good for them for making that happen though. It's like
it was really cool. And then towards the end of the tour, we played a show where I think it was the least amount of people at that show. Most of the shows did really well. There was this one show that like it wasn't packed or anything. And I was watching. I had to use the bathroom, so I had to walk past like side stage to go to the bathroom, and it was just luck that I was walking back from the bathroom during their interlude, and I just stayed there for a little bit to watch their set. And during the interlude, it's just the guitarist and singer stay on stage, and the bass player comes off and has water, hangs out for a second. So he was just like, "Hey, dude, do you know how to play any of our songs?" And I was like, "Not any songs that you're playing." And he said, "Do you want to play the last song with us? I'll just show you how to do it right now." And the interludes, I think he's off stage for like almost 2 minutes. So he told me the tabs. It's a 3-chord song.
Okay.
With nothing happening during the verses. So he was just like, "Dude, do you want like here's the tabs, 7/3, 7/5, and then don't play during the verses. Just play that during the chorus." And I was like, "Sure." Then he played another like 15 minutes of the set, and then right before the last song, he just handed me the bass. Never played this song. My first time ever hearing it was the first day of tour. And I ripped it up there. He gave me like the extra in-ear pack, and I just did it, and it was so awesome.
Sick,
and
dude.
It went well. It was really cool.
That's so
just
sick.
a cool like special moment that.
That's awesome. That's so cool of them to open the doors for you, and like, so cool for you to be able to step up there and confidently crush it. Where like, I think playing the song and then playing it in that context are two entirely different things here. Of like, my dumb bad analogy here is like, they always, I've been into golf a lot lately, and they always say like the top 100 golfers are all the exact same skill level. The only difference is who can be mentally strong enough to not fuck up on the big day when everyone's watching you.
Yeah.
And the same thing seems true to me here of like, playing the song probably isn't that hard. It's probably, you're in the level of people who can play that song. Mm-hmm. The amount of people who can learn it in 2 minutes in a quick side stage conversation, and then get up on stage and not shit themselves and not ruin everyone else's day and not distract the band by playing this thing horribly wrong or whatever could happen here. Like that, power to you. That's an incredible thing to make happen.
Cool. It was awesome.
Hell yes, dude. The question I want to ask here as we get to wrapping up here, I guess, actually, one last thing I want to ask, and I want to chat about one last thing here.
Sure.
I like the idea of a moment you felt successful. And so I'm curious, like, is there a single moment on this tour? And for me, there's always like these, like, yes, getting on stage and playing with them would have been a moment you felt successful, but that's kind of a different thing to me. Like, there's these little nothing moments that I think are kind of fascinating on these roads where you end up somewhere and you're looking around going like, how the fuck did I get here? And for me, I got to work with Harvard. Harvard hired me to do a project, and it was just a bizarre thing of like, how did I shoot so many shows at the underground? Then now Harvard is putting me up in their dorms and taking care of me and traveling with me out. And like the accommodations they gave me were like laughably bad, which is also a really fun part of the story of like the bedroom, like the building you walk in, it's like this gorgeous building from like the 60s. It's beautiful, marble, gold, just beautiful. You walk in the bedroom is still from the 60s. Like the mattress was like 1 inch thick. The sheets were like crusty and old. Like it was the least comfortable I've ever slept in my entire life. But just this idea that I had worked so hard at the fucking Webster Underground that now Harvard was like, come make a video for our school, for our network, was like, what the fuck, what is my life right now kind of thing. And that bedroom like lives on in my brain of like, not what I thought success was going to look like for me, but it was a cool moment to be like, yeah, I did do something here. Is there a moment from these like last couple months here where you look back and go like, I did do something here?
Yeah. I guess I have two. One of which was one of the shows was at the Palladium upstairs. Yeah. And that's like a half hometown show. The Webster would be more of a hometown show, but that's like the other home venue. That was awesome to be a part of a show there. And just like, even, you know, I go on stage sometimes to like take pictures from on the stage, and then, but just being up there like while they're playing and looking out and seeing the crowd, and like I've probably been in a crowd with every single person here because I've been to Dreamwake's headliner at this venue. That was really cool. Yeah. And then probably one of the most special moments though was the end of this last tour. Okay. The last show. We stood side stage for 1,000 Below set. And I was like actively trying to like live in the moment and like think about the set. And I was actively thinking about how I saw them at the Webster 5 years ago, one of my first shows. And like, I've loved this band for so long. And this is the last show. We just completed a full US tour with them.
We did it. Yeah.
And the singer saw all of us watching side stage singing the songs, and he came over and hugged us while he was singing, and then went back out. And that's when I like started crying a little bit. I was like,
"That's beautiful.
This is awesome.
Hell yeah,
really cool.
Hell yes, dude.
Finally did it.
Yes, I've had those moments standing on stage as well, where it is just it's hard to believe you're there, and I think I try to keep those moments in mind because there are also moments where I'm in the photo pit being like, bed sounds really comfortable right now. My couch sounds really nice.
Yeah.
And I think leaning back on those moments is what keeps me going. It keeps me energized of like, it's a wild journey we've been on to get to where we are. And it's hard to appreciate sometimes because we're so busy, we're so overwhelmed, so stressed, we're so sleep deprived, whatever the 100 variables are here, that I think trying to keep those moments in mind has been a really important tool for me to try and stay sane and try and like keep grounded in some capacity throughout this all here. Beautiful. Last piece I want to touch on here that I should have touched on sooner, but I skimmed past. We're having fun talking about other stuff here. Was HospitalForSouls debut. So that was the other piece. So yes, when you first came here, touring was in its infancy, and that was just a baby seed. I think you and Ryan had started to work on here. It seemed like 2 more years of intense work of programming lights. I think you went all the way through, so it wasn't just writing the songs and covering the songs. It was getting the whole show set. It seemed like it all went great. It seemed like the ticket sales were great. It seemed like the venue went great. It seemed like everyone on stage performed, like everything went the way you expected it to.
Totally.
What was it like to see that all manifest and come together?
Dude, that was awesome. That's my favorite thing because that's like my passion project. That's what I wanted to do for so long. It was the best. It really couldn't have gone better for completely doing it ourselves for the first time. We did it at it was like a teen center venue, so it wasn't something where like the venue promoted it or anything. We just paid for ads, and but not many ads at all, just a little bit. And my goal kind of I would always say like if there's one person that shows up that I don't know, I've never seen in my life, wearing like a Bring Me the Horizon shirt, singing the words, having a fun time. That's it. That could be the only person in the crowd. It's a win. It was all worth it. It's awesome.
My friends have to come, but if some stranger comes, then I did it.
All my friends that don't know Bring Me the Horizon can be there. Whatever. But and there was a couple people there like that.
That's it.
A couple people there like singing the words, and a couple more that were just like vibing. But the people that you don't know that show up, it's like wow, like my those people saw the ad that I paid for, and were interested enough to come, and that's so awesome. And they had a fantastic time. There was this girl in the front row that like every time we would start a song, she could tell. I could tell she was like a big fan. She could tell by like the extended intros or like what note it starts with. She knew what song. She'd be so excited every time. And like that's if there was a Bring Me the Horizon cover band that I wasn't in, I would be at their show in the front row acting just like that. I would know every song, you know. So it was awesome. It was surreal that there was even a couple people there that were like that, let alone one. I was just hoping for one.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
We're trying to do it again, hopefully in January.
That's my next question. Yeah, is there hope for more here? Yeah,
definitely. I probably once a year. It'd be nice to do it more than one. You can't do it too many times. 2-3 times a year would be ideal. And we would have this year, but then all these tours started. So who knows? But I know I'm not doing anything in January, so we're trying to do something in January, and it's going to be cool. Nothing's confirmed, so I don't want to like make promises I can't keep, but it's going to be a cooler venue and a cooler show overall.
Big things coming soon.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be really sick. I'm super excited. But
hell yes, dude.
Everything won't
so excited to see what continues to happen here. I think as long as you decide this is what makes you happy, this is what you want to keep doing, like this feels like the infancy of the journey, and plenty of people choose plenty of other things along the way, and if that's the case, then so be it. But 10 years from now is going to be an exciting time for Coltin. I'm excited to be a part of this little journey and a part of the early stages of it and see where it all takes you, man. This is beautiful. It's an exciting journey you've been on. Episode 106 of From Everyone with Coltin Little. We done did it. Where can people find you on social media? Where can they find the bands? I guess, find you with Dreamwake or find you on the tour you're coming up here if you want to talk about that for a second here.
I'll be on the second half of the Silent Planet Invent Animate co-headliner with Soulkeeper. I'll be doing their merch and content. You'll see me there. And then I'll be out with Avoid on the Belmont headliner for the rest of the year, November, December.
Hell yes.
That one's going to be awesome. Super excited for that. You can find me Instagram, C_Stunna. What I'm been known for now. That's everybody calls me now.
Cool.
And then I don't have much to promote. Keep listening to Dreamwake's new album because I want to see my friends blow up.
Yes.
It's an awesome album.
Yep.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Beautiful. They were yes. Follow Quarantine. Follow HospitalForSouls. Check out the bands here.
My bands too. Yeah.
Big things coming soon here as well. Here, it's a good trait to promote everyone else first and forget about yourself. But I'll promote you whether you want to do it or not.
Thank you.
Beautiful. We done did it. Yes. Follow Coltin. Check out everything. Awesome. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Leave a rating, subscription, whatever the fuck you're on, whatever platform. It's annoying to ask those things, but they do help, and the show is small enough that one single like does still matter. So,
absolutely.
Please check it out. Have a great life. We'll talk next week, friends.